Hello everyone, it's Aimman, and today we're going to be talking about the Battle Royale that could have been great. A lot of people say that there are too many Battle Royale games out there, and that the market is overly saturated. They say the same about hero shooters and other genres too. Personally, I don't see the video game market like that. Honestly, there isn't even that many Battle Royales. Even so, the game we're talking about today is probably the most original Battle Royale I have ever seen in my life. Yet if you mention to anyone what kind of game this is, then people just say the same blanket term. Another Battle Royale? Meanwhile, Darwin Project predates most Battle Royales and is way too unique when it comes to gameplay for you to just lump it in with other Battle Royales. The Darwin Project was a Battle Royale game that redefined what a Battle Royale truly is. It was made by Scavenger Studios, an indie game company founded in 2015, and launched Darwin Project 3 years later. Darwin Project being its first real game. Becoming available on PlayStation, Xbox, Windows Store, and Steam. It borrowed most of its inspiration and game mechanics from survival games. The game takes place in a dystopian post-apocalyptic landscape in the northern Canadian Rockies, where you must survive not only other players, but the elements like freezing to death or falling in lava, and most importantly, surviving the show director.
And what a way to finish it off. That trap didn't slow her down at all. Let's move on to the next.
This game had mechanics unlike every other Battle Royale. The one that stood out the most, for me at least, was the show director. In-game, you can choose to queue up for a regular match where you play as an inmate trying to survive just like every other Battle Royale, or queue up as a show director where you would be given near complete control over the inmates and their matches. As the show director, you could drop a nuke on a zone in the map that would kill inmates, or reward inmates with wood for making campfires to keep warm because they listened to whatever maniac thing you asked them to do. To you this might sound unfair, but all of the show director's abilities are on cooldowns and take forever to be able to use. Most of the time as a show director, you would be streaming on Twitch, acting like a game show host, talking to the players.
Mortal Unicorn here, creeping up out in the cabin. Shot in the back of the head is no good for him. He's in trouble. There goes the bubble. How did that happen?
Another mechanic that was drastically different to regular Battle Royales was its use of surviving the environment. For instance, you could gather wood to make a fire to fill up your warmth meter, which the smoke of the fire would alert nearby inmates to your location, or you could gather leather to make a cloth to keep yourself warm for longer. In later updates, they removed leather and the ability to make a cloth, among other things, sadly. Battle-wise, the game decided to take a more old-school approach with its combat, where it was mostly just axe melee and arrow combat. This caused the game to be a more equal fighting plane because everyone had, for the most part, the exact same weapons. I say for the most part because you could find material that would land in random spots on the map, which would allow you to build a turret or a force field, and then later updates they made you able to use grappling hooks and wings, etc., which changed the whole game feel, causing me to initially quit playing. The economy system in the game was really funny, in my opinion, because it worked normally, similar to Fortnite, except the currency was bags of ramen noodles, because all the players in-game are inmates forced to fight, and ramen in prison is very valuable. Darwin Project had some serious rough patches throughout its entire development. It started out with a price tag of $15, which is a bad start for a Battle Royale style game, considering free-to-play is the way the market's heading. Just about every single most popular video game currently is fully free-to-play with microtransactions. The game would eventually go free-to-play to attract more players, which only worked for a short while before dwindling back down again. Most likely due to them only making it free-to-play on PC, but leaving the price tag on consoles at first, causing console players to ignore the game entirely. The game was also locked to 30 FPS, causing more competitive players to not even look twice at the game. Something to note is that the game's updates started to split the player base. A lot of people left once the update that removes leather among other things and changed the core mechanics went live.
Trying to kill each other. That's crazy. Don't you just want to get involved? What do you say we pour in a little bit of the old democracy?
Tons of forums and Reddit posts were made asking to bring the old version of Darwin back, asking when it was coming back, but the developers kept the update permanently. Their reasoning was that it was to make the game more accessible and easier for newcomers, yet no newcomers ever really showed up. All the update did was cause loyal players to give up on the game and leave because the game had overpowered grappling hooks and wings now that allowed players to easily get out of closed zones and nuked zones, making the show director's abilities essentially useless. The devs figured the survival mechanics of the game were hard to learn for players and dwindled the survival mechanics to barely anything, where it became just melee battle royale, and that's it. Before the game shut down, they allowed you to change the game to its classic mode through custom lobbies, which is a nice gesture. But, first of all, you need a bunch of friends to be able to do that, and most people don't use the custom servers at all. It's still sad to see them give up on this game. Their new game that they're working on looks terribly boring. The reason I mention this is that if their new game fails, then so does the studio. Because this is essentially their last game. They're out of money. And if they shut down, so will Darwin Project's servers. So my suggestion is to play Darwin Project now, before the game gets taken away from you. If you are on PC, more than likely you will need to connect to the Europe servers in order to find a match. In conclusion, the game was amazing, and is now okay. The devs made the perfect battle royale, but couldn't gain the audience to support its development. Through updates, they destroyed the fan base that they did have, trying to chase players that they didn't have. It's always sad to see a game like this die. It's even more sad when players never even give the game a shot. I really hope to see another game with the show director mechanic that allows one player to control the map and makes each game different and more interesting. So before you go, download the game and give it a shot. Have an aim-tastic day.